Hello and welcome to the Cornish Knitter. I'm Jane and this is my podcast talking about all my knitting, what I'm working on, a little bit about what we're doing in the shop and just talking about some things that are coming up in the future. In this video too, I'm going to chat to Nikki, who's helping us design our latest knit along, and you'll see we do a short interview just explaining the concept and a little bit about what we're going to be doing, so watch out for that too. Last time I spoke to you, I think was a few weeks ago, and my goodness, there's been quite a bit of knitting going on since. It's been a busy time here in retail, as you can imagine. As the build up to Christmas comes, it's always sort of a bit frantic, and you're making sure that you've got enough stock in, and then you're just sort of starting to think about how you market it and how you sort of reach out to people and also sort of help people make really good choices for those knitty people in their lives or their fibre people in their lives, and it's probably the time of year we see the most men in the shop as well, I have to say. We have some amazing guys who knit who come in the shop, but on the whole it's largely females that come in, but this time of year we start to see guys come in looking for presents for partners, wives, mums, loved ones, or even friends, and who are fibre enthusiasts, and it's really great to be able to help them. But we do put together lots of kits as well to make the choices easier. And yeah, as you can imagine, sometimes they ask us to wrap things, or they'll just ask for a gift voucher, which for me is always quite a good option. But anyway, enough about that and the shop. We'll give you a little update a bit later on about a couple of new things that are in the shop. We've had so much new stuff, but don't worry, I won't bore you with all of it because there is a lot going on. Also this month, just prepped all the latest sock boxes to go out. They're going out for a launch day on the 1st of December for the Cornish Christmas sock box. This is part of our subscription service. For those of you that have not watched me before, we do have a Sock Club subscription service, and it's open at the moment, so you can subscribe until the 30th of November if you want to start to take part. All the details I'll put in the description below. Go and have a look, check it out, and if it's something that you're interested in. And we post all over the world. So today I've just made sure that all our overseas postage is out there, gone, ready to sort of be tracked, and hopefully will arrive very safely in plenty of time for the launch event on the 1st of December. But I'm not going to, sort of, as I said, previous videos I put in quite a bit of information about Sock Club, but it is open at the moment if you do want to subscribe. So go on and check it out if you do. But yeah, so been busy with those because we had over 150 boxes to get ready, parcel up and get addressed and everything, and sealed, ready to go off to the post office. Just bearing in mind that postage is always a bit slower this time of year, so we do want to get them out in plenty of time so that people aren't waiting for them, because there's nothing worse. So we've had that. We've had our Crowdfunder open as well, and thank you so much to everybody that has supported us so far. It closes, I think, on the 27th or 28th of November. We won't raise what we were trying to do to build the online knitting community as we were hoping we were going to be able to do, but we have raised some money, and that will help to go towards building it a bit slower than we previously would have liked to have done. But anything that people are giving us, it will be really well spent, because we will be developing the online knitting community and thinking about tutorials and connecting people who may be on their own and knitting where they haven't got any knitting friends or knitting groups. So yeah, I'll put information about that as well. So on to the important stuff, my knitting. As you can see, I'm wearing my Erissimum shawl. It's finally blocked and finished. This is the from our last knit along. Next time I'll show you Fran's Aster shawl, which is an absolute beauty. But this I love. This yarn here is from Blue Fern Yarns, and it was a kit that we're having back in stock. In fact, by the time this goes live, the kits might be live, but if not, they'll be a couple of days later. But this is a yak blend fibre, which has been dyed up specially for us by Shannon at Blue Fern Yarns. Why do dungarees always do that? I don't know if I've got really slopey shoulders. Probably, my mum would say I have. but my dungaree straps are, no matter how tight, I could have them so tight they'd be cutting me in an uncomfortable place and they'd still slip off my shoulders. So sorry about that if you see me fiddling with it. But yeah, I love this shawl because of the yak in it. It's got that lovely drape. It's not too warm, even though it's quite a big, generous shawl. This sort of drapes really beautifully, and it's certainly a yarn I would knit shawls in again and again and again because it is beautiful. So I think we've got about 8 to 10 kits coming back in. Shannon's done us a big order for lots of other things, but if you do fancy having a go at knitting this one, it's got a bit of mosaic knitting in, super easy mosaic knitting, but very effective for colour work. Really love it. And then just some simple stripes and a very simple one lace stripe sort of in between. So yeah, just give it a go. Love it. But underneath as well, I'm going to show you another sweater. Now I can't lay claim to this one. I didn't knit it. This was knitted as a sample for the shop. I'm going to slip them off this time. But this is the Ilha sweater by Orlane. Sucche? I will put it again below so that people know. So I know it's a super popular pattern. It's top down with a lovely yoke design, knitted in 4-ply. I love the little detail that you get here at the bottom rib and the cuff. It's sort of a broken rib design, so it just gives it a nice feature. This we have knitted up in Telling Yarns Resolute, and we've got lots in stock. I'm just going to run my finger along here and hopefully you can see that we have got lots of colours in stock. Beautiful, beautiful yarn from Beth at Telling Yarn. We're so excited to get it in the shop, and we've got it in probably about 14 colours I think at the moment. Haven't got this colour in, but it's on its way. But yeah, they're all lovely. Because it's dyed on a sort of non-static, so the colours sort of got some different tones in it all the way through. I don't know if you can see, it's got like a little bit of darker blue, a little bit of grey, a little bit of aqua. So it's a lovely sort of sweater to be able to sort of show off this yarn, because it's not too complicated a pattern so that it sort of detracts from the beauty of all the subtle shades that go through this yarn. So very, very grateful to Nikki, who is the Comfort Road Knits designer that I've mentioned before. Pop this back on because it's blooming cold in here today. In the shop we don't have any heating, and as the building is pretty old, a lot older than me, it can be a bit fresh. So we've got a couple of those radiator heaters, but the fan on it makes a heck of a noise. So it's pretty cold in here, so layering up. Even Nick, who works in the shop, you'll find her wrapped in all our shawls working, and fingerless mittens and stuff. So a great advert for the knits in the shop. Yeah, so Nikki of Comfort Road Knits sort of knitted up this sample for us, and she is the designer that's going to be working with us on our latest knit along, and you'll see me chat to Nikki a little bit later on in the video. So that's two of the finished objects, but this one is not mine, but this one is. One of the other things that I was knitting on, I think last time I spoke to you, was the Galanta vest, which is a Carol Feller pattern. You can get it in a sweater or a vest. I did the vest. I'm not gonna, although I've got loads of layers, it's sort of you just out of camera really, it's just finishes at the top of my hip bone. It's got a split on the side, and then this sort of broken false cable sort of comes across and then goes up, sort of staggers up on both sides, and then on the front and the back you've got a little emphasis of that broken rib again, just to give it a little bit of interest. Really enjoyed knitting this one. It was a lovely knit. It's a worsted weight pattern, and as I mentioned before, I knit this in our raw wool rum and raisin, which is a Swartballs blend with some of our Wensleydale fibre. I mentioned before, it has got a little bit of the field still in it, which I love. It's a lovely sort of, it's a really thick, chunky, sort of lovely sort of rustic yarn. We haven't got any left in the shop, but if you go to Raw Wool Company, if you go to their website, and again I will put in the details, we do still have some of this left, but be super quick because this is sold out so quickly, this yarn. It's a lovely dark bitter chocolate, and yeah, I think it's pretty special, and we won't be getting any more until probably summer, autumn next year when the sheep have been sheared and we can process it. So quite a limited edition, beautiful to work with, lovely, plump, lovely and warm, and yeah, really, really happy with that. So before I move on to what I'm going to knit next, what's on my needles, but I wanted to acknowledge the fact that we've reached over 5,000 subscribers. And when I started this back in February in my front room, and it was just a huge debate with myself about whether I would do this, whether anybody would bother to listen to me rambling on, whether anybody would be interested. I never in my wildest dreams thought that 5,000 people would subscribe to the channel and regularly contribute and listen in and make this such a lovely community. And I really wanted to acknowledge the fact that it skipped over 5,000, and I literally, I know everybody says it when you see this, you sort of say, people say they are blown away, but I truly am so happy to have connected with so many people around the world, and it's been amazing. But to note that event, that we've gone through 5,000, I thought we could do a little giveaway. And I wanted, being Cornish and a huge supporter of British yarns and Cornish, particularly Cornish producers, I thought it would be nice to do a Cornish giveaway. So the giveaway we're going to give is this yarn here from Blacker Yarns. All 3 skeins will go to the lucky winner. So it's not 1 skein per person, it's, here we go again, all 3 skeins. If I talk you a little bit through, so Jacob's double knit. So this is from Blacker Yarn. It's a worsted spun yarn, and it is made up of 100% Jacob's pure wool, and it's 220 meters per skein. So as I said, double knit with a gauge of, I'm looking for the gauge, 20 stitches by 28 rows for the 10 centimeters or 4-inch gauge. And we're going to give away all 3 colors, so you could make a really nice cowl or probably get a nice little shawl or something out of this. And I was trying to think about what could we put in the comments, ask you to comment on to select a winner, and we will do a random selection and get this out to you as soon as we can. So probably leave, I don't know, a couple of weeks for comments and get it out in the post. Hopefully it may reach you before Christmas. If it doesn't, sorry, we can't sort of change the postage, but it would be on its way to you. So I was thinking, what could we have as the sort of comment that so I thought it would be nice, thinking about next year, what makes knitting, if you could put in the comments, what makes the knitting community such a nice community to be part of. So I'd like to hear from you what you think makes this knitting community, not just my channel, I meant the whole knitting community. What makes it so special for you? What sorts of words would you use to describe it, and what does it mean to you? So if you could pop that in the comments below, and what I'll do is a couple of weeks after the video's gone out, I'll use a random selector and select a winner, and then I will contact them via, it will have to be via YouTube, and announce it on my next video as well, and get you to DM me with the details. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you know, we'll get these out to you if you answer and you're selected. So what does this knitting community mean to you? Just give me some words that sort of describe what it means to you. So, and it's a massive thank you from me here, just in my little corner of the world in Cornwall, to know that I'm talking to people in America, Canada, Germany, Australia, New Zealand. It's just amazing, as well as us Brits, of course, as well. So I just wanted to do that giveaway. First one I've ever done, but really, really thankful for it. So on my needles, I'm knitting a lot for the shop, and there's several things. I've literally sort of come to the ends of lots of things, but not all of it can I show you at the moment, because some of it's for next year, some of it's to do with Sock Club, but I seem to be perpetually knitting at the moment. But one of the things I am knitting are these little, these are Susie Rogers reading mitts, little fingerless gloves with a little picot edging, so sweet. I'm knitting these, and I thought I'd actually make a little cowl as well with the pattern doesn't come with a cowl, but I thought you could easily replicate this sort of design on a cowl as well, because I'll have plenty of yarn left over. And what I'm knitting it with is a Surrey alpaca this is from Lay Family Yarns, and I'm going to, sorry about the rustle because I've got it in my bag. This is Floof, which is 74% Surrey alpaca and 26% silk, 50 grams, 300 meters, mellow fruitfulness. And it looks like crushed raspberries, but I put it with just an undyed 4-ply. And this pattern here is for a double knit. And as I said, I thought I just noticed I haven't sewn in an end. Look, anybody else leave them till the last minute? Again, we're going to be getting quite a bit of this and some other colours into the shop, but I do like to put a sort of variegated fluffy yarn with a plain base. I like it with pale grey or sort of beige as well, just because I like the subtlety of the colours that you get when you put one. I don't like to put, say I had 4-ply or double knit in that colourway as well, I wouldn't put the fluff in the same colourway with that. I find that overpowering, but I do like the subtlety of putting them together. So I'm on to the second mitt, and then I will just very quickly knit up a cowl that will go with it and complement it, just to showcase it. Another colourway, we're doing a little hood, just one of those nice little balaclava hoods that you can tie, and then I'm going to be doing probably a Sophie scarf with another colour blend that we've got all to have for kits in the shop in the next few weeks. They're not in yet, but they will be up in the next few weeks. So that's sort of what I've been knitting on. I did finish my kids' Porty cardigan, and I will show you that next time. Oh goodness me, it's so sweet. But I haven't brought it with me into the shop, so I will show you that one next time, but I did finish that one off too. So I won't talk about the knit along yet, because that's one of the other things that I've been knitting on, but I will show you in a minute. So I'm about to cast on a few things. So I wanted to do, big cables seem to be really popular this year, and I have a sort of tangerine-y, orangey sweater that it's really old, and I've been wearing it recently, and so many people have said to me, I really love that colour, it's such a lovely colour. So I thought, what could I knit in something that's similar? What have we got? And I think I've mentioned this sweater before, and it's the Williams sweater by Johanna Gayrish. Gayrish? Yeah, I think so. I think that's, again, I'll put it below. So it's got big cables that go across the body, and you knit this sweater in 4 parts. So this is going to be a change for me, because goodness, like everybody else, been knitting in the round. So it's actually things that I'm going to have to sew together using mattress stitch. But yeah, so you knit the front and you knit the back, and then you knit the right sleeve and the left sleeve. And then you have to mattress stitch it together, but you swivel everything by 90 degrees. So obviously you're knitting the cables, when you're knitting it, it's sort of, you're knitting that way, but then you turn it on its side. And then you pick up the stitches for both the cuff and the rib and the neckline, and you make some shaping at the front for the neckline. So you pick up your stitches there just to finish it off. I just liked the construction. I thought it was a bit different. And this is the colour I'm going to be knitting it in. So this is the Fibre Company and Make, and it's their Aran version. And this is a beautiful yarn. It's super soft. So it's 50% wool, 50% alpaca. I've knitted a couple of things in this so far, not this colour, but I love that colour. I thought it would make a really statement jumper, a really flash of colour to wear in the middle of winter when we're all feeling a bit gloomy and depressed. And I know before I do like to knit in neutral colours, and I like to wear neutral colours, but I do occasionally like a pop. And so that's going to be on my needles. I'm really looking forward to casting it on because I'm interested in the construction. Really have to probably be really careful about gauge, the row gauge as much as the stitch gauge, just because when you turn it on the side, you want it to be deep enough to cover your body. So I will sort of make sure I check that and make sure of what length that I want it to be. So I think that is one thing to consider when you're knitting that. So hopefully when I come on again, I'll have cast on and I'll be able to show you that. The other thing I'm going to be knitting, and I can't put a picture up yet because the pattern hasn't been released, but I think it's about to be released any day now. And it's a Malinois Cardigan by Celine Feyten. Celine contacted me to say that she was going to be releasing this cardigan pattern. Would I like to have an advanced copy of the pattern and start knitting a sample for the shop, which I was thrilled about. And it goes, from what I've seen of the pattern, it goes from children right up to sort of very size inclusive large adult size. And the cardigan itself, without giving too much away, is a V-neck cardigan with some cabling up the shoulder. It's got a saddle shoulder construction, and it's got some nice detail on it, and it's knitted in 4-ply, so it's sort of quite a fine cardigan. It's cropped in length, but you can obviously make that longer. And I, in complete contrast to my bright orange, I'm going to knit it in a Cumbria fingering weight, again from the Fibre Company, and this colour is called Blencartha. So it's not cream, it's sort of like an oatmeal-y colour, and I think it's quite a flattering colour. Cream, something that's too cream against my skin just doesn't suit me. Not if it's on its own, it's just a bit too harsh against my skin. So I've decided to knit it in this lovely soft oatmeal colour, because I just thought it would go, that sort of colour cardigan would go with anything. And when you've got cables, I think if you've got too dark a colour, you don't see the beauty of the cables. So I've got a bit of cabling coming up, which is exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. I think the cardigan you knit from the top down. When Celine last contacted me, I think she was hoping to get it released sometime this month. So hopefully by the time I show you what it's like when I've cast on, the pattern will be out there and you can go and have a look at it. But I thought that would be a really nice little pattern to do. So those are two things that are on my needles. I've got a shawl to knit out of these two ginger pink yarns. So this is a ginger pink. She does natural. I showed these before. I picked these up at Unravel. I think our kits are on their way. They've knitted up the pressed flower shawl. Probably will do that, but I am looking at other options and thinking what else could I knit with that, because I've knitted that a couple of times. So I was thinking, could I do something a bit different with it or adapt a pattern? So, but I'm really looking forward to that. We've got a retreat happening this weekend, which we're running down here in Falmouth in Cornwall. So we've got a group of lovely ladies and one husband, I think, coming along to for 4 nights, staying right on the beach here in Falmouth in Cornwall. And the idea behind our retreats is you get to stay in a beautiful place, eat really well, get loads of rest and recovery, loads of knitting time. There's plenty of beautiful walks around, and you just meet up with like-minded people and get the time to work on projects. We have got an afternoon tea planned at a lovely hotel which is right on the waterfront as well. So this is our second retreat. We won one back in February and it was a really big success and people loved it. In fact, one of the ladies is coming back from last time to this time. And what they wanted, because the first time we did it for 3 nights, and what we were asked by the people said, actually, it would, to get the real benefit of that relaxation, can we have it over 4 nights? So be happily obliged. We've got a caterer coming in to do some beautiful food and cooking, and I'll be there, and my sister Sandra will be there as well, sort of just helping out. And Fran, some of you have seen on the Knit Alongs live events, she's coming along too. So there'll be a few of us there helping out, and we will be doing a sort of bit of a workshop in the morning and a knitting clinic, so 2 or 3 of the mornings as well, just so that we can work on something together as a group. There will obviously be lots of cake, lots of tea, potentially some wine. It does make me laugh because when we rented it, one of the big sort of things that the people that are renting it to us sort of said, no parties. I thought knitters would just be so busy knitting and chatting that I doubt it will be parties. So yeah, that's happening at the weekend. So my plan is to potentially cake this up and use some of this, because I need to have something that I don't need to focus on, particularly when I'm just knitting and chatting with other people. So that's the idea behind that, and that's one of the other things that I have been oh no, I won't. I'll tell you something else that I've been doing. So as it's winter, and whilst I love knitting and I rarely knit for myself anymore, because I have to knit for the shop all the time. As you can imagine, there's always new patterns coming out. We've always got new yarns to show people. So I'm constantly, or we've got sort of things that we need to show, like the sock club and knit alongs and all those sorts of things. So I'm constantly really knitting for those events. So just to sort of, because it's my work as well as my hobby, I do like to hand stitch as well, slow stitching. So I do enjoy some embroidery, and I don't like quilting in the respect of I'm not a half square triangle sort of person. I don't do precision very well. I have double vision really badly in my eyes. And I just don't trust myself with those 1/4 inch seams that you have to do, and that precision of that. I admire it immensely on other people's, but it's just not for me, and I get really frustrated with it. But what I do love is applique, and I love hand stitching and free machine embroidery. I like that sort of freedom to be able to use the machine to express myself a little bit, but I do love the hand stitching part of it. So one of the things that I'd prepped last winter and put away over the summer, but I'm picking up again, is a quilt, which is an applique quilt. Many of you might be familiar with the lady called Janet Clare. She's a British designer. She does fabric ranges. I think she's very popular in America as well as over here. I bought that quilt pattern. Ooh, I'll show you it again. It's called Miss Butterfly, a long time ago, and it was one of those things, and I had all the fabric for it. I'd chosen I had loads of scraps that I thought I could use, and then I'd sort of chosen the background fabric and whatever, and it was just like, actually, what could I do that's quite different? I have got embroidery on the go, and another time I will show you the embroidery that I'm doing. But I picked this up again. Forgive me, this is going to be way too big to show you on the screen, but just so that you can sort of get a sense of. So I liked it on the cream background. There's my young lady, and here's all the butterflies. And then, oh, there's more butterflies going across the top of the quilt. I've got my backing on the back already, so I've already basted it with my wadding, 100% wool wadding. What else would I do? So it's already basted and glued and pinned on. And then I've done this with a number of quilts before. You can probably see there's a load of circles drawn on it. And what I will do with those is hand stitch them. So I like to sit in the evening and I'm flicking my threads all over the floor. I like to hand stitch in the evening, or in, you know, on a winter's afternoon, rather than machine quilt something. I just enjoy that therapeutic of the hand stitching. So I've got 2 options of thread, so that you can see that, to do the hand stitching with. So that's something that I will do over this winter, just to have a break and probably to rest some of the tendons and the muscles that you use all the time when you're knitting, because as I said, it is my hobby and I love it, but it's also my job as well. So it's quite nice to have something that's sort of a little bit different to do. So that's my plan. We don't sell quilting stuff or anything in the shop, but we do sell embroidery. And so we've just got this embroidery in the shop, which is by Nicky Franklin, and it's called the Stitchery. We've got loads of different kits, but this is just one of them, which is this beautiful wreath done on antique linen. And Nikki's kits are amazing and she's so talented. So we have got a selection of these now in the shop, and I have got some embroidery by both Nikki and Caroline Zub, who is another fantastic designer, on the go as well. Just again for that bit, that's the sort of thing I quite enjoyed doing out in the garden, is just sitting and doing a little bit of an embroidery. So I do like that sort of therapeutic hand stitching. I suppose it's similar to knitting, isn't it, in terms of it's quite rhythmical when you do it. But yeah, so that's my plan, and it will keep me warm as well. I've also got my crochet blanket, which I stopped doing in the summer, which I was doing monthly. I had a monthly subscription from Blue Fern Yarns, again in double knit, and I'm holding it together with I think it's just Drops alpaca in a pale grey. And I'd got up to August, finished August, so I've got 4 months to do in my colours before I finish. But it's heavy and it's big, so I wasn't going to lug it down to the shop, but I will do when it's finished. But I will pick that up again, because it's great to work with when it's cold outside and I can keep myself warm. Just a couple of things that I thought I'd share with you that are in the shop, and then I will finish off by talking about our knit along a little bit. Obviously I went to Lay Family Yarns retreat with Kelly and her lovely husband Nick, and Kelly's lovely parents, who helped out with all the cooking and everything, and they were amazing. They were so lovely, and I had a lovely weekend. It was really nice to have a weekend away. I did try and do some filming, but it was a bit difficult with everybody there and whatever, and I didn't want to have to ask people's permission. So I will show you next time what I dyed with it, but if you look back on my Instagram stories, you'll see what I dyed up. But it was a lovely weekend and they were so hospitable. So if you see her retreats and you get a shot at going, do go along and have a go. You eat so much food. Wear elasticated trousers, I think, is my bit of advice. And yeah, it was a really nice break away, and I would certainly do it again. And I met some lovely people who, you know, hopefully I'll stay in contact with, and some of them are thinking of coming down to our retreat too, which would be lovely. So remiss of me, I didn't bring it down with me, but I will show you next time. I will put it on my list. So one of the things we have got in the shop, which is from a sort of local leather maker, is a lady called Lisa, who's got a company called Studio Lowen. And one of the things, we talked last year about potentially making some knitting and sewing sort of notions that are Cornish and we could have here in the shop. So she's created a little range for us, and I wanted to show you them. So this beautiful leather, this one here is sea glass, and we've also got it in this olive shade as well, in the bigger. And then it's got this little bit of gold lining, and inside of here you can have your scissors, you can have your stitch markers, you can have a set of needles on a cord. So it's quite a nice little travel sort of pouch to take, and your darning needles. So I thought they were a beautiful little size and so beautifully made by Lisa. She also has made us some little sewing kits. So this has got the felt inside, and again little pouches to put in your notions and your different sort of scissors and things. So really loved those. So we've got those in several colours, and the olive and the gold as well. And then we've got these tiny little notion pouches. So I'll show you these little ones, which again are great for stitch markers. We've got these little fold up scissors, so they sort of fit in there, your darning needles. Oh, well, I like them for just a little purse as well. So it's beautifully made. And again, we've got them in a whole range of colours. So I just wanted to show those to you because they are exclusive to us at the moment. And our customers are loving them. So, and they're a touch of Cornwall in leather and absolutely beautiful. And we're working on some more products with Lisa for next year. So things like, I should also show these little needle cases as well. So little mini ones for the sewers in your life. But we're looking at double pointed needle holders, you know, when you've got your fabric, and a few other bits and pieces as well, and maybe even some bigger project bags in these beautiful leathers. So watch this space. So I thought I'd show you that quickly. I've shown you the telling yarns that came in. We've had all our knit by numbers, which is here from John Arbon. So that is fab. Even the colour that I did, oh, there it is, that I did my field sweater in, is in that beautiful sort of raspberry pink. So delighted to have got those. And then last week, we had a delivery of these gorgeous. They are gorgeous, aren't they? I just want to squish them. These are Harvest Hues, again from John Arbon, and they are 33% Blue Face Leicester, 33% Falklands Merino, and 33% Swartballs. Worsted weight yarn, but what a bunch of beauties. Oh, it's all dropping out now. Nick will kill me when she comes in tomorrow and sees what I've done to her lovely display. So yeah, so lots coming into the shop. Something that we've also sort of done, because we had so many, we did these mitts a long time ago, and they are the underwing mittens, and I will put up who the designer is, can't remember. And again, Nikki from Comfort Road Knits knitted these as samples. But we've got kits for these, and but we haven't had them for ages, and we'd run out. But the thing was, the pattern and the item was still up on our website, so we've had a number of sort of requests for them. So we've got new stock in to make these beautiful little mitts. It's obviously colour work, but yeah, the underwing mittens. But I will put up who the designer is, because for the life of me I can't remember. So my last little bit, and I'm going to put in at the end of this an interview with Nikki of Comfort Road Knits. You will get to see Nikki and meet her. She is an amazing designer. She's very modest. She does tell us a little bit at the beginning of the video about who she's designed for, but just to name a few, sort of Dior, I think she said Alistair McQueen. She's designed for Toast. She's designed for the BBC, some of their knitwear for their programmes and things. I know she's recently done some Christmas jumpers for the BBC on a programme that they've got. So she's an amazing designer, and she's the designer behind the Falmouth Harbour hats and the mittens. And when I was talking to her about a knit along that I wanted to host just after Christmas, Twixmas as we're calling it, a number of you who took part in our previous knit along said that what you'd like to do is have a colourwork cowl, just to have a little go at colourwork, but nothing too sort of big and difficult to do. So talking to Nikki, we've come up with this concept, which she'll explain in a little bit more detail when I put the VT on. But what we are going to be launching is the knit along will start on the 29th of December. It will be on YouTube, on here, and on YouTube Live. And Nikki will take part, as will Fran, who you've met before. And the cowl itself, the concept of the cowl, now I'm going to show you one that's nearly knitted. So here, and obviously this all needs blocking, for example. But the concept of the cowl is that you are going to be knitting 3 blocks of colour work and then 3 blocks of different textures, lace, cable and textured knit. And each of those sections will have different levels of difficulty depending on what you would like to choose. But we have put together some kits for this because I know sometimes people find it quite hard to think about colours and how they all work. It's a double knit cowl. As I said, there'll be more information in the little video to come. But this kit here is wool decanted, they're vintage yarn. So this kit here will be our pink wool decanted kit for those of you that are interested. So a lovely natural with those beautiful antique pinks. Then we have this colourway here for those of you that like a blue and a pop of colour. So this is our blue option, which is Mrs. Moon Plump DK yarn, beautifully soft. And then the final option, because monochrome was so popular with this, we've gone for a monochrome option here. And this is John Arbon Devonia in double knit as well. So 3 kit colourways. We haven't got masses of stock. We will put them up for pre-order so that you can order them. But be quick, because for these kits they sold out really quickly, and we won't have masses of them. But in the VT that follows, the little bit that I interview Nikki, we'll talk about what you need if you decide to go with your own option of colours. We aim to get them out in the post no later than the 15th of December, so that we've got time to get them to you over the Christmas period, so that you can join in and start. The idea behind the cowl is that it's just a fun, supportive environment. There is no sort of urgency to finish at lightning pace. You know, it's not about speed. Embrace your pace, as they say. So it's about enjoying the process and knitting along with like-minded people, chatting away online. And yeah, just I think the previous knit along live events, anybody that joined will know that we talked about all sorts of knitty stuff. And Nikki will be there to offer pattern support, and she's going to do some little video tutorials, I think, as well in support. The pattern will not be going live itself. We haven't got a name for it yet, actually. The pattern will not be going live itself until launch date. So nobody will be able to buy it before then to see it. And as I said, it's sort of a mix and match. So yours will be unique because not everybody's going to pick the same sort of different textures that go between their bits of colour work. All the 3 bits of colour work though will be the same. So that's a little bit about the cowl. I'm going to finish with my interview with Nikki, just a short interview, just talking through the cowl and letting her introduce herself and talking about, you know, who she is and what she does. You'll love her. She's such a lovely, lovely lady. And don't forget our giveaway, which I've just put over here. I'm just thinking, where have I put that stuff? So these 3 yarns here, remember in the comments, if you could comment and say what the knitting community means to you, and that would be lovely, and I will pick a winner. And thank you so much for listening. Hope to see you again soon. Bye. So we're going to have a little chat today with Nikki.
Hello, Jane. Hello.
Nikki is Comfort Road Knits, who designed the Falmouth Harbour hat and the Falmouth Harbour mittens, which you've seen me sort of knit up quite a few times, and we've got a number in the shop. But I thought it would be interesting to have a quick chat with Nikki so she can share a little bit about her experience and her background, but also because Nikki's designing the pattern for our next knit along, which is a colourwork KAL. She's going to share a little bit about her thought processes behind the colourwork KAL. So, Nikki,
Hi.
We met, didn't we? Sort of
I was trying to think
by
how...
accident a little
Yes, yeah.
Because you lived, I think it was during COVID or...
Yes, well, my mum knows Sandra.
My sister, yeah.
And I bumped into her a few times and chatted to her. And someone mentioned to me that you were looking for test knitters. And I came in and showed you what I'd done. And yeah, that's it.
And what Nikki didn't share when she initially came in was a little bit about how experienced she was. So Nikki, would you like to share with us some of the people that you have worked for either as a knitter or a designer?
Well, yeah, I've been very lucky. I've done sort of samples and catwalk samples for Dior, McQueen, JW Anderson. I've made garments up for the BBC, for Amazon Prime, Toast, Heard. Yeah, quite a. I've been very lucky.
Lucky, I don't think. I think she's underselling herself. She's a really talented designer, and you like both machine knitting and hand knitting.
I do. I love my knitting machine, and I love hand knitting, and also crocheting and sewing. I like all different things.
Because you do bespoke crochet pieces of work, don't you?
Yes.
We won't mention perhaps the company, but they are very high end, aren't they?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So somebody orders one, and then Nikki gets to crochet.
Yes.
Too sweet, so to speak.
And they're available on Net-a-Porter.
Net-a-Porter.
Yes.
So sort of a high end site.
Yeah.
What do you like knitting? What's your sort of favourite things to knit?
I really enjoy colour work.
I was going to say,
I really
if
love
somebody had
colour work,
asked me what you like,
Yes.
so if you talk about the one that you've actually got on, because
This is the Echelle
Echelle
jumper.
IXCHEL, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've made 2 of these, and I'm fully considering making a 3rd one.
Oh my goodness!
I really like to do it with black and silver.
Oh yeah,
so
that
it's
would
more
be nice.
moon-like. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely sweater.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes.
You knitted one for us as a sample, didn't we?
I did,
And in the end, we sold it after much pressure, because we'd had it for quite some time, and then somebody kept on coming in and sort of saying, I really would like that. And because you'd knitted us a small sample size, hadn't you?
Yeah,
because
it wasn't the biggest.
It wasn't sort of going to fit everybody.
No.
So in the end, and I think we stopped stocking the yarn eventually.
Oh, okay.
So in the end, we agreed to sell our sample, but it was a beautiful example of it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful jumper. Yes, I love colour work, cables.
Do you want to show them your mittens that you've got?
Well, yes, I have all sorts of. This is what's on my needles. I've been working on these.
Who's the pattern by?
By Yolanda. It's from Knitworthy.
You can send me the details and I'll pop it up. I love the cuffs on these. I like the
it's
fact
beautiful. Yes.
that you've got the
detailing on them is really lovely. I really like the way that she just
Do you want to hold it up towards the camera.
She just really thinks through the those lovely little details.
But so beautifully knitted as well.
Well, thank you.
But what's your other passion at the moment? Because I can see them. In the pattern.
Well, in preparation for Christmas, I've been knitting all these little.
Are they
mushrooms.
from a pattern, or are they from?
They are from a pattern. I think they're called Christmas Toadstool. Yes. But one of my favourite things, I think I've knit 7 so far. But one of my favourite things about them is the sort of comedy of scale to the yarn that I'm using.
Oh my goodness me! Where did you get all of this yarn from?
This is JC Remy.
Right.
Yeah.
So can I take one of these?
Oh yeah, of course you can.
So
yeah.
Look how sweet they are. And even the little muddy bit at the bottom where it's been picked from the field, which I actually love.
The details of them are really lovely.
Yeah. And where are they going to go?
Christmas decorations. I thought I'd just attach little.
Oh, right. They'd be pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, there's going to be a Christmas tree parade at Ilha Churchtown, down by the Yacht Harbour, and I'm going to give these for their decorations.
Oh, that's nice. That's so lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we were thinking about the next knit along, and Nikki's always popping in and out of the shop, and we're always chatting patterns and yarn, and you love knitting with natural fibre yarns, don't you?
Yes, you have so many beautiful yarns in here.
So she's always in, and we say, oh, would you knit something up, and then she goes out with an armful of yarn for us to either knit up a sample or sort of work on some creations together. And we've got lots of plans for next year as well, perhaps collaborating, Nikki doing all the pattern design, which you guys will hopefully buy, and we'll be sort of working with her on sort of stuff that we can use in the shop. But when we started talking about a knit along, I sort of mentioned to Nikki that people had said a colourwork KAL might be a nice option. And then she came up with this very interesting concept, which we hope you're going to love.
So I started working on samples. These are my samples.
Just a few.
So I had an idea of doing a sort of choose your own adventure KAL, so that there would be elements where everybody knits together, and then elements where the knitter gets to choose what they would like to do. So there'll be a colourwork section, and then a lace section.
Oh, I'm going to be the able assistant here.
And then another colourwork section, and then a textured section, and then colourwork again, and then cables.
So the idea being is that obviously this is all going to be joined together into one KAL, but the 3 pieces of colourwork will be interspersed with either a lace, a textured or a cable part of the pattern that's knitted in one colour. And the one colour, obviously you're going to use 3 of the colours that you use in your colourwork piece of work, and we will have kits in this sort of colourwork option as well as another 2, which I'll talk about in another part of the video. But the idea being is you interspersed with these 3 bits of colourwork, which are all the same, is there are these 3 bits of texture, cable, texture or lace, but each one you've got 3 options. So if we looked at the cable work, for example, which is the beginner
I think that's the beginner, because it's a 1/1 cable, so that's a pretty simple 1/1
So we've got a beginner version,
a middle version, which is just a 2/2.
Just the phone rung, so we got interrupted. So this was the beginner version. This was the middle version, which is
and this is the maybe slightly more advanced, which has sort of travelling cables and a variety of different types of crossovers.
And then we have the textured piece of colour. I'm guessing this is the beginners, is it?
Yes, I'd say so. The detail on that's quite hard to see, but I think it's called bow stitch, and it is very pretty, but it's quite petite. And I think that one,
this one here,
just a sort of traditional diamond pattern,
yeah,
made
in
of
fact,
knits and pearls. Yeah,
it's actually very similar to the sweater I've got on at the moment. And then this one here,
well, I was inspired after watching your video about Polperro
and the Ganseys.
Yes, and that's a traditional pattern from Polperro.
Oh.
And I thought, it'd be nice to put that in.
That's the Polperro Gansey, and it's in the Mary White, is it White or Wright book on traditional Cornish Ganseys.
Yes.
So that's where that has been acquired from. You did have the book.
Yes,
here.
I'm sorry, I left it out of reach.
And then finally the lace version.
I think that's the simplest.
So the simple one, in terms of if you're more of a beginner knitter, and you can choose which one you do, in terms of you could do, if you're more confident doing cables, for example, you could do the more complex cable, but you could, lace is not so confident, you can do an easier one. But that's beginner lace, that's the medium lace.
And here I have the slightly more advanced lace.
And the idea is that this KAL is going to be knitted in a tube. So you're knitting in the round, and you do a provisional cast on when you start.
Correct,
and then at the end you would either 3 needle bind off, or ideally Kitchener stitch together.
Whatever people are confident.
Yeah, so whichever people are confident. I mean, if you're not used to a provisional cast on and you really don't want to do that, it's up to you. You could seam it, I think, as well.
You could, but I'm going to suggest doing the provisional cast on, so just casting on with waste yarn, so no one will have to know any new cast on skills.
And you just pull that out, don't you, and put your needle back in. But Nikki has kindly sort of offered to take part in the KAL. So she's going to be giving us pattern support on Ravelry and also taking part in the live events. We might not physically be able to be in the same space, but we will make sure that we're both on there. And also you were sort of anything that people get stuck on, between us, we can create little video support pieces as well, so that any techniques or anything that people can't do.
Absolutely, yes. And my hope is very much that people will try maybe new things that were a little bit sort of pushing themselves, but we'll be there to offer assistance if there's any problems at all.
Yeah, so this reminded us, when we were talking about the concept and Nikki came up, it reminded us a little bit of those flip books that you had as, you know, the fashion ones where you could change people's outfits and put different things in. So I think that was your thinking, wasn't it, behind
absolutely,
it?
Yeah,
I'm just putting this, oh look, that's gone. It's difficult to hold four, isn't it?
If I hold this side.
You hold that side and then I will do that bit. So yes, it'll all put together. That's not looking very efficient, but you get the idea. So this will be knitted in one fell swoop. We will actually, as I said, have kits available for people, but in terms of if you do choose to use your own yarn, we think about 50 grams each.
Yep, 4 colours, 50 grams each, DK. Yep.
Yeah, 4 colours, and one of the colours, the darker one, so the darker contrast here, which is the black, you won't be using in your panels. It's the other 3 colours, but the black you use only in the colour work, or the darker. That is correct,
but you will need about 45.
Yeah, because there's a lot of it.
Yes.
And this colour work is it's quite basic. You're only using 2 colours at one time. There are not long floats, so they're short floats.
Absolutely, no more than 3.
No more than 3, so you don't have to worry too much about sort of catching floats and things. So quite beginner friendly if you've not done colour work before.
Yeah, absolutely very beginner friendly for the colour work. Yes, knitted in the round, so you won't have to worry about any colour work parallel stitches. Yeah, ideal.
And you're going to be releasing the pattern, aren't you, on Ravelry?
Absolutely,
under Comfort Road Knits in time for the knit along, which we're scheduling to start on the 29th of December. So there'll be a live event on the 29th of December to launch it, but we will be putting the kits up very shortly for anybody that wants to get their kits in advance. And yeah, we just want as many people to take part and have fun. Fran will be joining us as well. For those of you that took part in the previous, she'll come and knit one as well, because she loves a bit of colour work. So you'll have 3 of us this time on the, which will be great fun. So thank you, Nikki.
That's all right. Well, thank you for having me.